As I search my heart for the one expression that would most vividly describe my love and commitment to you and would have the most meaning to you, it would have to be, I promise.
You gave me trust when my heart would not return it, patience when I gave you fury, and softness when I thought my wounds would never heal.
I promise to love you with all my heart and soul, now and forever.
I vow from this day forward to be your friend,
I promise to be your best friend and lover.
to be your helper when you need one.
I promise you, Cybil, that my word is my bond. Lastly, I promise you that we will always be together.
I shall always love you for choosing a gift once open and making it new.
Even though both of us came from previous relationships, I think when you're young, regardless of how new the relationship is, when you're young, I think that love means something different. But real love, I think, is just endurance. After good and bad and hard and easy, and we've had our share of really rough patches or mean things that you might say inadvertently to hurt each other, or mean things that you might do to hurt each other. Regardless of what you may say or do to that other person, at the end of the day that they still love you, and no matter what, you're going to get through it. And I think that I didn't have that same understanding when we first got together. I think being in our 20s, we loved each other from the standpoint that we had a lot in common, or we loved being in each other's company, and we saw a life together. But it's not the same as raising children together and getting through some battles and overcoming some significant adversity and mourning losses together. And that's what love is about. It's hard work to not just love each other, but to love your family, to love our relationship, because you do have to love the relationship itself, I think, as a unit itself, and love the fact that you're going to keep that marriage going.
Love
certainly is an adjective, and I always say love more so than love because it's certainly always a work in progress. You always have to, and certainly have to work at it. It's never been easy. Don't anticipate it getting any easier, but certainly when you are when you do love somebody, you certainly work at the business of being in a relationship and life, kids, so much going on. It's so easy to kind of get caught up in that rat race that you can easily, in many instances, forget the reason that the two of you originally got together. And, that was because you loved each other. So, is love the same as it is after the first date? Certainly no. It takes on a whole different meaning, especially after you've had to live with somebody for 10 years and you get used to all of their different idiosyncrasies and different things that they do. But love is what keeps you together. At the end of the day, it is the most important thing, and it's the thing that brought you together, and that will be definitely the thing that will keep you together, whether it's 10 years or 20 years like my brother and sister, and or 30 years like my parents and like her parents. So certainly we hope to be able to continue to kind of follow in those types of footsteps, and always continue to remember to focus on loving each other. Commitment. It's funny. Probably the only thing that Cybil say I've ever been committed to is being stupid, but being a retard or a jerk, as she would always say. But commitment is certainly one of those things that, again, I think it's the working part of a relationship. You, in order to maintain and to stay committed to one another. I mean, again, it's something that in my mind that you have to do on a continuous basis. Certainly something that you have to continue to work at, and it's difficult. Again, I think with anything in being in a relationship, as you go on this roller coaster ride, that we call marriage. When you go through the valley, so to speak, and when you're at the bottom of the hill, it's always the tough part. And, in comparison, when you're riding high at the top of the hill, things get so much easier then when times are good. But really, when you're faced with adversity, I think that's when the commitment part is really put to the test, as well as all aspects, of the relationship. And then, again, what is it built on? What's the cornerstone of your foundation? I think with each other, and as well as having Jehovah. I think it again is something that certainly allows you to focus and stay focused on the commitment to each other, to do all of the various different roles that you have to play in being in a relationship, but also not just playing those roles, but then not forgetting or putting too much emphasis on one particular, and being able to hold that balance. That's what you have to be committed to, is to maintain that balance, to understand at what particular time is what's needed. Whether it's a husband or a father, you always are trying to kind of juggle that and try to anticipate in many instances what's going to be next, what's going to be this particular moment of time, and things are always ever changing.
Every time I hear the word commitment, I think of people being committed like in an insane asylum. Like no matter what goes on, crazy, good, bad, you're just there. And sometimes that can be crazy because all common sense can tell you should leave. But I think when you love and you have that kind of commitment, you're there even when times get rough, even when any other situation, common sense might tell you that's not a good place to be, you still stay. That's commitment.
Just pick it up and eat it.
Did you just put hot sauce on the potatoes?
On cheesy baked potatoes?
Look, I'm from Euclid, okay? And these are mashed potatoes. You don't know me.
He said he was from Euclid.
Wow. Oh, you tough.
Whoa. Tough stuff there.
Listen, it don't make a difference where you from.
Still light
You
skin.
still light skinned, bro. So, you still Albie Shore light, even though you ain't getting no hot.
Success. Well, after 10 years, let's just say it was a success. No stab wounds or bullet holes. So, certainly we consider that to be a success. But although I might get a couple after that comment, but hey, I still figure it's a success. I think certainly, anytime that you can, maintain a relationship for 10 years, it becomes, in overall a success.
I think I define success as at least success from the standpoint of a marriage, or in terms of the level of happiness that all members of that family relationship have. We have some very happy kids for the most part. We have laughs when we're together. I think for us right now at year 10, with a child that's 20, 13, and 7, I think making sure that those kids are happy and that Chris and I have completed 10 full years with no stab wounds, gunshots, bruises significant, with no stab wounds, gunshots, bruises significant, and no police being called. I think that is success pretty much. I mean, you really can't ask for more than that at this stage. No, civil authorities being called. I think that's successful. That's where we are today.